Hello, my crafty friends. I'm going to try to, I'm going to do an experiment today. Um, I have a good friend who teaches out at a Montessori day school, and in the summer they have a lot more kids and older kids there than they do just in the school year. And so I wanted to help her give these kids the experience of something as similar to jelly printing as I can, but there are about 60 kids usually, and that's a lot of kids, to try to provide enough jelly plates um, to get much done. And so I was at a garage sale, and they had all of these fun foam things. These are just fun foam circles, and then these are the ones that have sticky stuff on the back. And it got me to thinking, maybe I could maybe we could use these and see if we can get a similar experience. It, of course, won't be the same, but I want to see how similar we can get it. So I'm going to use one of these, and we're going to try that. And then I put a couple of these together, so it would be a little thicker, and we're going to try using that. Um, and then I also had one of these already that's, really thick, and I thought we would see the difference between these three and if any of them will work. And while I was at that garage, I went to another garage sale that was down the street, and they had it was called a monster mat, and it was still in the box, but it's a cushy mat that you would use. They showed it on the package. They showed somebody's having a treadmill or some kind of exercise equipment on top of it, and then they showed people actually exercising on it, kind of like a yoga mat, I guess. But this was before the yoga craze started, so um, it was old. I don't know how old it was, but you can't even find one like this anymore. I went online and tried to find monster mat, and you can find all kinds of monster mats, but nothing that looks like this one. Anyway, it's not quite as thick as a jelly plate. It's not quite that thick, but almost. It does have a kind of a texture on the front of it, so but we're going to play with that and see if that'll work too. If it will, I can cut that up and get quite a few jelly plates out of that. If it won't, then I'll probably put it on the floor in my kitchen for when I'm cooking, because it'd be nice to stand on instead of a tile floor. But anyway, we're going to play with this today, and we're going to see. I'm going to do the same thing on the jelly plate and then on each one of these, and see how close we can get to making something that looks similar. And I'm just going to use some normal things that I use when I'm jelly plating. So let's get started. First thing I'm going to do is just put some paint on. And I'm going to do these one at a time. I'm not going to try to do them all at the same time. I think I would get confused of what I'm doing if I try to do it all at once. So we'll do the jelly plate, and then we'll do each of the other things and see if they will work. See, I could have rolled that off on here, but then it wouldn't have been the same as this. So and I'm gonna start with this. And I got the garage sale where I got the mat. She just threw in a whole stack of paper. I bought a bunch of fabric from her, just junky fabric. It wasn't anything special, but there were a few pieces in this box that I could use for something. And she said, if you'll just take the whole box, I'll give it to you for $1. And so I said I would do that. Oops. There's my jelly plate print. Let's just go ahead and pick up another one so we can get a ghost print here. And there's my ghost print. right. So now then let's do it on here and see what happens. I think I'm gonna need a little bit more paint. That seems to just be soaking right in. It might work better after you've got some paint on it. I don't know. Goodness, excuse me. Well, that's looking promising. I think I should put my paper somewhere else, my big old sleeves. Oh, I'm so sorry. Okay, let's see what we get here. Well, that actually makes a pretty good print. It's not exactly the same, but it's good enough. I think the kids would have fun with it. That's cool. I don't know if we can get a ghost print or not, but let's try. We're trying to see how similar the experience would be, and a ghost print is part of one of the neat things about Gelli plates. So, okay, we actually even got a ghost print. Wow. Okay. That's kind of promising. All right, let's move that one out of the way and let's do this one, see if it's any better. Let's move those two. Should have stuck this down on something. It's sliding around like crazy. Okay. Let's okay, you definitely need to stick one of these down to something if you want to get a good print off of it. So it's all right if we put it on the back. Okay. All right. Actually, that came off really good. Look at that. Wow. I am actually really amazed. Okay, let's try the ghost print thing. And there's my ghost print. I think this is really usable, actually. Now we'll see what happens when we do it again. You know, if it, let's see if this one's any better. It may end up not being any better. Just gonna do this one in the middle, not do the whole plate, but okay. Oh, gotta do my design. This is easier to keep in place, and I don't know if it's the size of it or if it's thicker or because it doesn't have that piece of paper on the back that you know, is holding the sticky stuff. Okay, that is a pretty print. Now let's do our ghost print. The ghost print's a little bit better off of this one. Let's take another one, see what we can get. there's a third one. Let's go ahead and get this off. Try to okay. I'm really excited about that. If you can't afford a jelly plate, get some fun foam. It actually works pretty good, at least for this particular method. We'll do something else now and see how it goes with a different method. But the scraping a texture into it with some kind of a utensil, a pencil, whatever, would probably work well on this. Okay, let's do something else now. Let me hang these up, let them dry. Sorry, it's taking me just a minute to get these hung up. Okay, now let's try a different something. And one of the things I really like to do is use fabric. So let's try that and see if that'll work on here. Let's turn this over and we'll put a little extra because we've got fabric that's going to soak up paint too. Alright, let's put this over it. And let's move these papers over here where I can get to them easier. There's through the fabric. And I think I want to get the edges too. I'm just trying to pick up stuff so I can leave a good print when I pick up the... Okay, now let's take the lace off and do a print of that. Okay, there's the print from the jelly plate using that fabric. So now let's try it on here. Okay, let's put the fabric down over that, and our paper to take off the extra paint. You definitely have to press a lot harder to get it to come up. But it does. Okay. Oops. Okay, now let's see if we can get a print off of that. It looks pretty on the foam, but that makes a pretty print. Look at that. That's really nice. Let's see if we can get the edges over here. Okay, that looks really cool. The foam looks pretty too, doesn't it? Okay, let's try this one now. Oh, there's too much paint back down there. Okay, now we'll put the fabric down on here. Put a piece of paper over this. Get my ring out of the way. I've got messy hands. That's no different than jelly plate than on the jelly plate. There's my pull off one. Let's pull that up. Look at that. It even pulled off some of the red just like a jelly plate does. I have to tell y'all, I am really surprised at how well this is working. I was so prepared to be disappointed. I'm really surprised, and it's a happy surprise because this means I can do my project that I want to do. But I really didn't expect it to work this well. Let's see if we can, if it will continue. Let's do this one now too. And our fabric. I'm going to do 2 pieces of paper so I don't mess up my hands. Let's do it like this. Okay. Okay, let's see if we can get a little bit more here in the middle. Get some more down here. It's probably hard to see through the camera, but you kind of have to check and see if you're make sure you're taking off enough to leave the print behind. Okay, let's put this one here, and I'll just stick this one over here to get the side there. Okay, that makes a pretty good print. I'm really happy with those. So let's try some other things. The one thing I'm not sure that you can do is put a print on and then let it dry and then add some more paint and see if it'll pull it all off. But we're going to try it. We'll put some of this green on. And one thing with this one is you want your paint to not be really thick. Okay, let's do some of these real quick just to. Okay, let's. Okay, now let's pull these up. And we'll let that dry. Yeah, it's gonna take a minute to dry. Sorry. Let me see if I can get in a little closer. Maybe you can see better. Sorry, I didn't realize. Didn't realize I didn't have you up close. A little bit more. Okay. Now let's use this yellow behind it. It should show up good. Okay. I'm going to use these bigger papers because I'm tired of getting it all in my hands. You want to really, when you're trying to pull off 2 layers, you want to really burnish it good. Let's see what happens here. Okay, look at that. See, that's some of the beauty of the Gelli plate. Look at that old paint from something else. I love that. That's really cool. Okay, let's see how close we can get to that on our faux Gelli plates. Let's do this one first. Grab some of that paper and bring it over here. Okay, let's put these down. And we'll just use this again to take off the extra and kind of press the Alright, let's pull these off. And let this dry a minute. This is the part I think is not going to work because the jelly kind of releases, and this I don't think will release. So, but we'll see. We'll give it a chance. Let's let it dry just a little bit more. And maybe to get the same effect, I should not let it dry quite as much. I don't know. I don't know. Let's go ahead. Let's get not, well, I think I'm going to wait. And if that doesn't work, then we'll not let it dry completely next time and see if it makes a difference. Okay, that looks pretty dry. Okay, we'll use this same kind of paper. Really burnish it good. Give it the best chance we can. Okay. It's cool. It's not the same. It's not quite as distinct, but it did work. And to some extent, here's the difference. You can definitely see that on the Gelli plate, it's a better impression, but this is still fun. Let's try it on here and see if the little bit thicker will make a difference. Definitely, if you decide to do this with one of these, you need to stick it down to some cardboard or something because it moves around a lot. I ought to just go ahead and do that. Maybe between these prints I will. Okay. Okay. Let's take these off. This looks like it might be more distinct this time. Let's go ahead and fan it a little bit. Okay. This one's not as dry, but well, let's go ahead and let it dry some more. It's not an equal test if we don't let it dry. Because I'm just wondering if it would work better or worse. Okay. I meant to stick that down to something in between. Okay. I know that these foam things won't last like a Gelli plate, but for a one-time session thing with some kids, I think it's going to work good enough that that we can have a lot of fun with it. but they won't, you know, you can't just wash them off and keep going 100 times like you can a real jelly plate. But so far I'm very pleased with what we're getting. I think it's definitely worth doing if you have access to fun foam and you don't have access to a jelly plate. There we go. It actually looks a little bit clearer than what I can see on my monitor, but all right. Now then, one more here with this one. See how it works on this. Ooh. Let's go back over here. Alrighty, let's let that dry a little bit. It's still damp. Almost. Okay. Okay, this is the same kind of paper, it's just a different color. That one was orange and this one's pink, but I ran out of the orange, so, or yeah, it's orange. We'll just burnish it real good. Okay. That one didn't work quite so well. That's interesting. Because see, I was expecting that one to be the best. Maybe I dried it too good. Maybe I didn't put enough yellow paint on it. I don't know. Interesting. So here's our 4 prints. This one's off the jelly plate. This one off the round piece of foam. This one off the doubled foam, and then this one off of the thicker foam. So that's interesting. Okay. I'm going to try one more thing, and then I'm going to try some of these same things on that mat, and we'll see if it works any better. Okay. Let's do blue here. Okay, we're gonna press the this one. Okay, let's use some bigger ones. Sorry, forgot I zoomed in. I was almost out of the picture there. Okay, ooh, that's pretty. That's classic jelly plate. See, you just gotta love the jelly plate. Gotta love it. Okay, now then let's see what we can do here. Okay. That turned out pretty. Okay, let's try it on this one. And I once again forgot to put this down on something. This is a good size, I think. Oops. Didn't get that side. Okay. Oops. Oh, that got kind of a bubble under it. That turned out nice. It's not as maybe as vibrant as the one off the jelly plate, but it's still, I would be happy with it if I wanted to do some of this stuff and I didn't have a jelly plate. Let's try adding just a little bit more paint and see if that helps. I don't know if it will or not. It may have been too much. I think I may have to take off some of that. Okay. More is not always better. Okay. Looks pretty good. Okay. I think that those are definitely doable for one texture at a time. You could always overlap them because they definitely do. The paint does come off and leaves empty space. So you could just, you know, use another color and a different pattern over the top of it. I definitely think that's a win. You just can't do quite as fancy as stuff as you can do with the jelly plate, but I'm still pretty happy with the results there. I'm going to pause for just a second because this other thing is huge and I'm going to have to try to get it up on the table without knocking everything off. So I'll be right back. Okay. I'm back and this is the mat and you can see it's thick and squishy. But it does have a texture to it, kind of a pebbly texture, which probably will come off on all the prints. So I don't know if the other things we do to it will show up as well or not. So that's why we're going to play with it and see. One thing I forgot to do when I was doing it before was use a stencil. So I'm going to do that first on the jelly plate and then on here and see what happens both places. Let's do some green. Okay, we're going to put this down on top of it. And we're going to pull a print like this. And that's fun. Typical jelly print. Now I've still got a lot of paint left in the places I was pulling up. I just had a little too much paint, I think. So I'm gonna go ahead and do another one. See if I can pick up some more of that before I pull off the stencil. See what we can get from underneath it. Okay, that one looks pretty cool too. Alrighty, set those out there. And then that's gonna need to dry or something, so we can do it on the other one without actually transferring paint. Okay. Now then, let's okay, and there's the stencil one. And now we've got this left on the plate, and I'm going to let that dry while we're doing it over here, while we're working on this, and then we'll add some paint on and we'll pull those circles off there. All right, let's see how it goes. Let's put this down on there. And let's pull a print. It feels really similar. I think if we don't like this, probably it's going to be because of the extra pebbly texture in there. I don't know. We'll see. I kind of like that pebbly texture, but I don't know if I want it on everything I do. Let's go ahead and see if we can pull up a little bit more of that paint. And we did a little bit. Okay. Now let's pull that up. Let's see what we come up with here. The paper doesn't stick down to this like it does the Gelli plate. So but we did get some texture off of it. We're going to let that dry. We're going to come back over here and pull this off if we can. Just a little paint, not too much. That almost cleaned the Gelli plate. Can't see the green too much. Purple's too dark, but it's there, very lightly. Okay, let's see how this is. That feels pretty dry. All right, let's just go ahead and try it here. Yeah, this one doesn't stick at all. I think the foam foam works better than this. If you're wanting a pebbly texture, this is great. But if you're not wanting a pebbly texture, if you're wanting normal stuff, I don't think this is going to work. Not much, just a bunch of pebbles. Huh. It is funny how brown it looks, though. You know, I guess the purple and green made kind of a gray or a brown. But I want to see something else real quick here that I don't know if I can even clean this off enough to use it now for something else. This may be permanently a texture plate. Oh. We'll try one more. Because I'd really like to use this somewhere if I can't use it to jelly plate with. Okay, well that one was kind of a bust unless you're really looking for a pebbly texture. And if you're looking for a pebbly texture, it's really cool. But if you just want to do some jelly plate techniques, this one doesn't work. So don't go find you one of these. Just get the fun foam. It's cheaper anyway. I was just thinking if this worked, it would be cool. We could cut probably 20 jelly plates out of it, but not so good. Not so good. I think that's all the experimenting I'm going to do on that. And my advice is if you want to make a bunch of jelly plates, so you got a bunch of kids you want to give this kind of an experience to, use the fun foam. And that's kind of what I'm thinking. I just won't introduce techniques that don't work well on it. Because I don't want them to, of course, I don't want them to get frustrated. Alrighty, well, that's my playtime for today. God bless you all. Bye-bye.